Hey, big. Hey now.
Oh,
Hey there, buddy.
you're live.
How are you doing, Barry? I'm doing great,
I'm doing good. I'm
Mister
not Barry,
Mister Fast.
but
Mister Fast.
yeah, that's me.
Ooh, I see Johnny out there giving us crap for starting late. That's nice. That's good. Well, everybody, I'm glad you could join us tonight as we enter the bear market. We're going to talk about some of the key moves you should make to benefit the most through this next bear market. How about that?
It's a good start. No, I think some people might contest that it is not a bear market.
Do tell. Do tell.
Well, I see 99% of influencers saying it's a bear market and 1% saying it's not. Somebody's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's wrong. I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. Um, Man, it is so much to talk about on the topic. Here's the thing is, right? Well, there are some people who are convinced that they know when they are right.
Always.
But I fall into the camp of I don't think anybody knows exactly what's going on because our indications are all they're all trailing indicators, right? Meaning we don't know until we know type of stuff. But what we can observe over the last several four cycles with crypto, right, is that we had this crypto cycle that typically ended with a blow off top of Bitcoin, and a blow off
Yep.
top being defined as a parabolic run up that loses steam because you just run out of buyers, right?
Yep.
Because people are buying, presumably retail buying at the top. You just
Yep.
run out of it.
Euphoria, right? Like people have a euphoria. Everybody thinks the price is never coming down. But I never remember feeling that way during this cycle.
Right. Well, yeah, you can also measure it on the chart, which I do with the golden ratio multiplier.
Okay.
So, and here's the thing: crypto's so new, anyways. I mean, relatively new. We don't really even know that you could expect 4 year cycle after 4 year cycle, but it's what's been happening. So that's what we look at. So what we can clearly see this time around is that we have gone longer than the 4 years, expected 4 years, roughly. And we haven't seen a blow off top. Those are the two things that we know. And so then the question is, what happens next, guys? Oh my God, crypto's going, Bitcoin's going down to 65. Yeah, maybe. I mean, geez, anybody go look at the chart. If you did any simple education on chart reading, you go, oh, hey, look, a whole bunch of buys happened at 85. Oh, look, a whole bunch of buys happened at 65. I guess those are levels. I mean, that's
Yeah.
about that's about how you can eyeball it. I mean, there's more finesse for the guys who are doing the trading, but we can see it on the chart. So then,
65 doesn't sound that sad to me. Like let's say it did go to 65
oh wait,
and
I
that
gotta
was
get.
the new bottom. Like
Do we have a sad sound track?
you
I'm
could
gonna
make
look at it.
maybe a violin or something.
I have to. Oh, I just got the gong.
The last time it went to 15.
Yeah.
So like is 65 really that sad?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Not in my mind. Not in my mind at all. So yeah. So then we'll just have to wait and see. So here's what my planning has always been. It sounds kind of maybe it's old school. I just plan for everything. Meaning,
Okay.
I kind of have an idea of what I would do if this is it. I mean, I'm already doing it, which is putting things into place that'll be long lasting, and then prepared if there is some sort of a fast move to a top, and I'm prepared for a slow move to a top. Right. So it was just having an idea of what the plan is, where I expected to be able to take profits, if I was going to take profits, what I was going to do with my hex stakes, all that type of stuff. But yeah, I did wake up and just see so many people capitulated. They're like, it's over. I mean, they didn't capitulate with money or with stakes or anything like that. They're just like, it's over. Damn, guys.
Right. Mental
Four more.
capitulation.
Yeah, 4 more years. All right, you want me to pull this up?
Sure. Yeah, it's
in
worth
the
a
chat.
look.
Let's go look. Oh, this is a fast Abdul status.
Indeed. Surprise, surprise.
I don't know. Surprise, surprise. Oh, fasty. Given.
Do you want me to pull it up?
No, I'm trying to get it up.
Yeah. Oh.
No jokes there. No problem, sir. All right. Share my screen. I pulled it up in the other one. Though it is always easier when you pull it up. I think this is it. Okay. You want to talk about marketing tablets? I want to talk about marketing tablets.
About marketing tablets. No need to go through all the words. There's a lot, but I got a nice picture that people will probably like. But basically I did a post about the marketing tablets today. Went over some, you have to assume these are assumptions, but I feel like there's a good chance these things are right. So I speculate that only 10% of all the tablets have gone out yet. So we have a tidal wave of tablets on the way. I think a lot of them are going to go out all at once, which should be interesting. This kind of marketing works better when it's done en masse because you get more just interaction in the market with the same thing. Everybody talking about the same thing going on, which is cool. Tablets have upgraded packaging on the outside, so there's a new message. There's 2 QR codes. I don't know what they are, but I know there's 2 of them on each package now. So people will be able to, scan in and get to a website pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a landing page involved, like something that calculates like, oh, this person came here and does a count. So it gives you some feedback on the marketing, which is cool. The QR codes would be perfect for that. We also have confirmed fridge magnet upgrades. What do you think about that, Crispy?
I like the fridge. I like the visual of the fridge magnets. I was like, oh look, somebody tore that thing down. Showed me the magnets. Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, we got for sure magnets on there. Do you want to scroll down a bit so people can see the picture at the bottom?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it. This is one of my favorite topics.
Good. Let's go through it. So we had improved packaging, SJ with her cat, fridge magnets. We have reports of tablets going out to crypto conferences to be handed out for free. I can't think of a better audience than a crypto conference to hand these things out. So that's pretty cool. And there's some big conferences coming up in the next couple of months. ETH Denver, for example. Where it'd be pretty awesome if we could hand out 10,000 of these things to people have crypto. Virtually ideal. And then there's other ideas that are floating around out there. Johnny, who was in the chat earlier, RH publicly awarded him $2,500 for coming up with the idea to put the tablets on Amazon for cheap to make use of Amazon's sophisticated tracking structure. What do they call it, Johnny? Retargeting. There we go. Amazon has really good retargeting, which follows people throughout the internet for a long time. And, it may add up to some free eyeballs there, as well as just giving people like community members a way to get them without buying them for $600 on eBay, which was fun too. So that's pretty cool. And then I think there's even more stuff, in the works. Like there might be ways to get these out to big players in the crypto industry, celebrities, that kind of thing. I think there's people talking about these details. So I have a lot of faith in these tablets long term. Short term, this is not like going to get you 50,000 new customers in a week when you send one of these out, right? It's a long term play. But if this is on somebody's fridge and they're seeing it 30 times a day, I think most people eventually are going to go to one of the websites listed on the item. If they don't immediately after receiving the package and being like, what's this? And then, show up on Twitter or somewhere else, I think we're going to see a lot of new people posting pictures of these tablets. So shout out to the Hive, which is what they call the factory where members volunteer to, get these things out in the mail, unload massive trucks, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people have been doing it. It's in California. If you're in California or you're going to be in California and you want to help, you can reach out to me, to wild SJ, or to RG3, and we'll get you set up.
Good job. Good job. If I was out there, if it wasn't hard to get there, I'd be there every week, man.
Totally.
It
Yeah,
was
it
close
was a
by.
little bit hard for me to get there. It involved several airplanes and quite a bit of driving, but yeah, it was worthwhile. It was fun. It was interesting. You'll meet people from crypto internet, and it's generally good, right? Like whenever I meet Hexkins, Pulsechains, like I always have a good time. You don't have everything in common, but you have that in common, and it's a good basis for a conversation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I see a lot of people posting about the tablet still. I still shake my head, when people are like, I'm okay with people being critical, though it's not their funds, and I kind of wish they weren't critical in public, but it does create more attention if they are. But I am.
Conversation is fine, right? It's how you do the conversation that matters sometimes, right? Like, you can say I would prefer if it was like this, but if you're just a giant dick who comments how, the people doing this are wasting their time, and you attack the volunteers, you attack the people who are working for your bags, then you need to reassess what gets your jollies off, and
Yeah.
find a new fetish.
Well, yeah. Well, I probably mistakenly believe that people that are posting about stuff are posting because they're interested in it and that they're really being truthful. But there's a lot of trolls out there, anyways. But
Oh, totally.
my thoughts are, when I see somebody posting, they're like, "This has been a failure." I just think to myself, man, where did we go wrong with education? And I do forget, that we have a pretty broad group of people that are involved in the community, and not
We
everybody
really do.
knows, or they haven't had the education. They don't know. They haven't had the experience. I don't even know what marketing is.
Yeah.
So it always comes
This
back
is slow
to,
burn marketing too, which is, I think, it's not what people wanted. Like they wanted immediately, a million people come and buy my bags marketing, right? Which is not long term effective, or usually even short term effective per dollar. This is long term effective per dollar. Viral marketing that will take time to really pick up steam.
yeah. Well, there's just so many people who are just, and I think this is an important point, but they're just waiting for somebody else to pump their bag. And when that
Yeah.
doesn't happen, it translates into something else. But this marketing stuff, this is why I tried to get ahead of it in the beginning, talking about it. Yeah, marketing. So sometimes it takes years to even begin to see it, and then you don't even know, man. You can't. It's really hard to track that the marketing itself is what created. The uptick in sales or not, and that's because, like you said, slow burn stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you on that. Translation is these types of campaigns, they take a lot of numbers and a lot of time to be able to spread into whoever's getting them distributed. And so there are no instant gains. I talk about the yellow pages with people, but most people don't know what that is anymore. But you know, as a form of marketing, but
They were a big
it's
deal,
very tough.
a huge deal in their time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big deal, man. It was what a gimmick. It was such a gimmick for like 40 years. So
Totally.
many people paid through the nose. You talk about, fixed games.
Yeah,
My
but I think
God.
it was clearly effective, right? It's why you have so many
Well, so people pay.
businesses called like AAA taxes and stuff like that. It was all about appearing first in the phone book, which is no longer a main concern.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. I see SJ out there. Hey, thanks, SJ, for everything you're doing. Ooh, we were just talking about you in the hive. Yeah, the beached whale says, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? So I can tell people who know what I'm talking about. Delivering door to door. I used to do papers. I know that too. You know, the old days we
They were
used to have.
heavy, like for a big city, like the thing might have
Oh
weighed like
yeah,
7 tons.
big ones, sure. Yeah. And then Duke Caboose talking about 2,600 a month. No lie, dude.
Month.
The $2,600 a month adding the yellow pages because there was, believe it or not, guys, there was a time without the internet, and before you had the internet, closest thing you had to it was information, and you could call information, but they didn't have like some mega cross reference, right? And so the only way you can get yourself listed in a way that people could find you and be like under multiple listings was to have like a main listing and then pay for all these extra, listings in the book, so people could actually find you. And yeah, that's kind of crazy stuff. But that was the kind of money with that stuff too, man. I mean, some of it was a little bit easier actually to track than what's going on with the tablets. But even then, I mean, you'd pay out that $15,000 to $20,000 a year, and you'd be like, I don't even know if it did me any good. I mean, how many people found us because of the phone book, And then radio and TV were even worse,
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're very specific. Unless you could hit a niche audience, like if you were selling farm implements and you could hit a small town farm radio channel, then you might be able to hit the right people. A lot of advertising to do a good job is about targeting, right? Like hitting the right people at the right time with the right information about the right product. I think that's, that is one of the main focuses with these tablets, is getting them in the hands of the right people who maybe know what crypto is or have crypto. I think those are the right people versus like no coiners, right? Though we've seen some success with no coiners as well, but I'm pretty sure I want people to at least be on Ethereum and receive this tablet and be able to figure out how to bridge over to Pulsechain.
Yeah, yeah. What are your? I was thinking about this today. Like, what do you feel like the top three things are you'd tell somebody to do who's brand new coming onto the Pulsechain? I was coming up with ideas about like easy way once somebody's onboarded for them, besides just holding tokens, right? Which actually is my suggestion in a way, but like what would you do? What would you have them do? And I came up with three things that I would have them do right away just to get a taste.
Like to get into Pulsechain specifically.
Yeah. I'll tell you what mine are first, so you understand what my head went. I was like, well, what kind of tip could I give somebody like to kind of taste this stuff? And I'd be like, well, if you got over to Pulsechain with some value, probably what I would do is I'd say, how about we get you some exposure to some yield? Yeah, first thing I do is get some UPulse. All right, why would I get UPulse?
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, UPulse is Pulse, but it's compounded validating. And you might use VPulse instead. It doesn't matter, either one. But UPulse,
interchangeable mostly.
Validator X. And so then they bring $100 in, and now they're earning 12%, roughly 12% APR on the $100. And then I'd be like, all right, what else do I think might be a good idea? Well, you know what? Maybe I'd come in with that $100 because this is like simple, right? To like just go swap for that and you got it, right? And then $100 for like stable LP. So maybe I'd send them over.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I'd send them over to Pulsex, and I'd say go deposit $100 in stables, into stable LP, and it's not a ton. It's like 7%, but you're in 7% APY or APR, and then probably because I've been so focused on actuator lately, I'd probably just say, okay, get some exposure to Hex, go buy the cheap HTT. Go swap for the cheapest HTT that's out there, and just hold that. Now the person's getting exposure to 12%, maybe an APY for the Pulse. Maybe they're getting 7% on the DAI and the stable pool, and then maybe they're getting another 15 or 20% in Hex terms. And then that would be like
important loss. Those kinds of things aren't relevant with these with these options. That's important. Especially right now, I think.
That's kind of where I'd start. Where would you start?
Well, I like the UPLS, VPLS stuff because, there's no impermanent loss, and it's, you don't have to understand how to run a validator. It's good if you understand the concept of validator, but UPLS or VPLS take care of that. So those are great choices. I like the PulseX. Stable farming, it's probably the easiest one to do. So for new people, that's good. I might try to upgrade them into going on to Tide or Fox instead for stable coins for better APR. I'm pretty sure Tide is probably the winner today, but
Yeah, I think I saw
maybe
it
something
for
somewhere else.
14 or 17% or something.
Though, to tell you the truth, the single side staking in some of the liquidity forks tends to be the winner as well. Let me pull that up. And that's a
Wow.
pretty easy new person option. Like you would get a stable coin and you stake it single sided. Here we go. Ink printer 20.4% APR. Single sided staking with stable coin. It's a little bit more to know there, but not in order to stake it. That's not very hard to do. So that might be a good new people one too. Like any of the liquidity forks have single sided staking in the stable coins. So that's Earn, Flex, Liquid Loans, and Ink Printer at the moment, with possibly more to come soon. So that's okay. The thing about like Tide and Fox is they have a little bit more of a learning curve. So it's almost like lesson 2. So might leave that for a month after the person comes on to make them understand that a liquidity pool can have more than 2 tokens in it if it's a balancer type pool. That's a longer discussion. I like the concept of the actuator. I also like the Maximus DAO for the same reasons. So like, yeah, some sort of hex derivative that represents hex is strong, where they don't even have to worry about staking. That's cool. Though you'd want to get them on the staking pretty quickly, or at least understand how the staking works, and then they can make their own decisions much more easily. So yeah, I'd probably go actuator or Maximus DAO tokens, like HTT or Maximus tokens for the hex component, and then probably get them to buy a little something like Pulsechain. That's just like a hold thing where there's a buy and burn attached to it, but they don't have to participate with the buy and burn. Like teaching them to hold is as good as teaching them to do DeFi in some cases. So yeah, pick up a little of all these RH-based tokens is probably not a bad place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just so many ways. I mean, there's just so many opportunities right now. I know a lot of people are down about the prices, of course, and the volume's way down. Like it's like bottom barrel, type of volume on chain right now, which kind of matches sentiment, right? For people are excited and they think things are going to happen. They do a lot more transactions and trading. So the sentiment's low, volume's low.
But new people who came on right now, like imagine if you were brand new and you came on and we showed you how to get somewhere between 7 and 20% on stable coins, and that was your only experience. You just did that maybe for a whole year. Like it would be better than your bank is giving you, almost any bank I've ever heard of. And like during that time, like you would be doing some DeFi and you would learn how to press the buttons, hopefully in a very safe manner. And then you'd be ready, to deploy into more exciting things, volatile tokens that can go up and down. So stable coins are not a bad place to start. That's one of the ones when I talk to friends and family, I tend to start with stable coins because they can understand that, like the ones who are involved with investments in general can understand the concept of like, oh yeah, you can get 12% on just your dollars, right? It's easy to get them to understand that. The actual like get into crypto and this chain, that chain part, that's a longer conversation.
Yeah. Well, we have a comment from MTB Siri from Taiwan. Thanks for all you guys do, or thanks for all you do, guys. Business. Crispy, did you sack for ProveX? I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I don't think I think everybody should have a little exposure. That's just how I think about it. But not opposed to it. But guys, there's no more information other than what's out there. I don't know if you came up with anything new, dude. I have no more information about than we had last week.
No more verified details. We do know, like the sacrifice wise, that the PH team, Buck and Dylan, are running a sacrifice pool. I think they're charging about 16%, which comes out of the volume bonus only. Not a terrible deal. For most people, you would get more points than you would by yourself. If your purpose is to acquire more points that may or may not turn into tokens in the future.
Oh, roger that. I hadn't heard. I had heard there was a change, but I didn't know what it was, what the amount was for
I
that.
think I'm not part of that team, so don't quote me exactly, but I think they talked about with noticed that the rate would go up over time. Let me just peruse their Telegram room. Yeah, it's current 16% is what they have it set at. It started at 10%, and day 0 to 11, day 12 it jumped to 15, day 14 it jumps to 16, and yeah, I imagine it will probably go up from there. The reality is that by the time we make it to I think day 20 or 21, when the rates start to go up, probably most of what's going to be sacrificed will be sacrificed. People will be less likely to participate at higher rates unless there's some sort of change.
Mm-hmm. 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 And we don't have any more information from Richard Hart or anybody else about what the protocol is.
No, I've heard speculation, but it comes down to the same things. We had on ramp, off ramp, trading of digital goods, peer to peer. Like it's definitely more speculation than confirmed things based on what Richard says.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure we'll be very excited about it. Very, very excited.
We'll be very excited about the price at the very least. Be it too high or too low, people will comment.
Let's go. Yeah, I'd like to see some higher prices for sure. But so this is the comment that we had gotten from Johnny before. I figured I'd come back to this since I put the title up here. Pulsechain, can you bear it? You get it? Bear it. Anyways. So the chaotic person here says the plan is the same. Wait for euphoria. It ain't here. It ain't time, regardless of the calendar, or if you want to call it a bull or a bear. True. True dat, Johnny. Actually, I agree with all those words there. I do think that, and I've been preaching this anyways, we have so many people that are just, I don't fault them for it because I showed up in crypto with the idea that I was going to make $1 million, right? And I'm still working on that. But here's the thing is we now I learned over a couple of different cycles. Very first cycle I was like, I'm a genius. Look at this. Everything I bought went up, and I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Well, that was on paper, right? And of course at the time I didn't understand that the only reason all this stuff went up is because ETH went up. Right. And this is way back when. And then ETH went down. And so it all went down, went to zero. So that's just to prove how much I knew at the time. Anyways, but the point is you see this, a lot of people round trip continuously, token after token.
Yeah.
And so then I wonder what makes them decide, hey, they're not going to sell for a profit now. And it usually comes down to is they think there's more runway. They think there's going to be more. And then it doesn't always turn out that way. In fact, lots of times it doesn't. Sometimes it does.
That's what Johnny's talking about, right? Like the price is never going down. It's every day it's as low as it's ever going to be. And you can only expect, more upside, right? And that's what people will be saying at some point about crypto. They're not saying that right now. We are not in it for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're definitely not in euphoria in those terms. But I think, going forward, it's kind of like a lesson. Like maybe the plan isn't to strike it rich, get hit by lightning style. Maybe the plan is that you're going to be here a little bit longer and you're going to be looking for those opportunities. You could take moderate profit when it makes sense to, like on a risk reward basis, and then wash, rinse, repeat. Maybe that's what it looks like. I don't know.
It seems logical that crypto in general would stabilize. And I think we're seeing that with Bitcoin at least. The longer it exists, right? So you would see less 10,000Xs and less, 99% dips.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that right now you still couldn't see an 85% dip in a 5,000x. Like it does happen. It has happened.
Yep. Yep. There's always a conundrum. Yeah, whatever. Always a decision to be made.
I'm with you.
A conflict to be resolved. Which way to go, guys? Which way to go? All right. So I've got one other comment over here, maybe to highlight. I'm just talking about, man, I got to agree. There's nothing better than earning tokens while you sleep. 724. 724.
Money, earning. Yeah. Those are good things.
That's from HS. Math up. I guess it must be the up token. I don't know. But anyways, HS math up. So what else did you have going on this week? Anything new happen?
This week?
Or anything you want to cover?
Sure. Yeah. No, I've been doing some more talking about Vault, working out some of the final details. I got devs working on dev stuff. So hopefully we can get that on the rise pretty soon. I'm looking at the ProveX token as a possible collateral item for a stablecoin. The Vault 369 is meant to be an expandable liquidity fork, meaning that you can add on additional collateral types. So if ProveX has sufficient liquidity, which I suspect it will, then it's probably something that within a week or two of launch, we can have that added as a collateral type, which I think would be pretty cool. And draw some interest to people who are interested in stablecoins. So that's on my agenda, but more details are required. I can't even say 100% whether ProveX will be on Pulsechain. Seems likely, but I don't think that's confirmed.
Yeah, we don't even
that's
know.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So still running a contest for people to join my Telegram room. We got about $5,000 ish worth of prizes. We're doing a draw when the protocol launches with three grand prizes available, as well as a meme contest for those who are into making memes. And there's been a bunch of people who've won that who seem happy. So that's fun. What else do I got going on? Oh, yeah. Vault token, as of probably an hour ago, is now on LPX. So there's a 72-hour window where people can single-side stake their Vault tokens. And it's set to 100% auto compounding with a wider range than I think we've seen on most LPXs. Let me find it here. I believe it's set to 5%. No trade zone, 4.8%.
4.8, yeah. You might ask them to look at those settings and tweak them before it kicks off, but
yeah, we could. I did have the discussion the other day. So, but yeah, if you had any, you have any advice, I would be happy to hear it. But yeah, LPX is basically an automatic market maker that sells high, buys low, and supports the price of tokens. And we've seen that run successfully with multiple other tokens. And so I was pretty happy to get Vault in there very early on in its life. I think it'll be a good long-term thing. Those guys will have other things out soon. There's stage 3 where there's more custom options, but this is just a stage 1 single-sided staking until it launches, and then it will be you can put in Vault with DAI once the trading starts happening. So, and I feel pretty confident it's going to support the chart based on what I've seen with other tokens.
Yeah. Well, I think the settings are important, and of course, you got a lot of things going on in the background with that token too. As far as the buy and burn and the support and the fact it's part of the new protocol, etc. Yep. I've been doing pretty good with my LPX testing that I've done, but I've been testing it since February, right? We're just kind of watching it and not trying to sell it to anybody. I'm just saying I see good APR coming out of it and good gain on tokens. And it really points out how every token's a little bit different, as far as the demand and what the profile is. And then I have a pet project that I keep working on out there where I'd like to be able to start converting dead pump tire tokens over to LPX once the phase 3 comes out. So I have like a methodology that I'm working on to get that in place to see how that would work. Of course, phase 3 of the LPX is imminent, 2 more weeks type of imminent, and that's where I could go set one up without having to have the dev set it up.
Now, with phase 3, did they have volume limitations? I know with phase 1, they want a certain level of liquidity and a certain percentage of the tokens that are in the protocol for it to work properly. Is it? Do you know if it's going to be more loosey goosey on phase 3?
Well, I think it's whatever you want to put it up for, and it either works or it doesn't work, right?
Okay. Well, that could be interesting because you could do some lower cost experiments, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from the team on it yet, right? So I don't know if that's what their final rules will be, but that's the concept. So I could see a lot of people doing that.
Indeed. Yeah, I think like if it is just an open tool that people can use, I think the phase 1 pools with set amounts and set limits, there's a certain safety margin there for just regular users. But if it is opened up and you can just play with those tools, like somebody might find some cool winning combos. And if you can test that with $50 instead of $30,000 like it's set up now, that could draw some users and maybe somebody finds something out. With science, it's all about the number of trials, right, and the controls you have on it, right. So this could be the science of LP on Pulsechain.
Well, like I said, I've seen it work so far. I was citing it the other day. I've been doing some streams on Hex. Can you believe it? I'm still talking about Hex.
You're still talking about Hex after this? It's been years.
Yeah, and anyways, I've been doing streams. So I did one the other day. I did one on the bond market, the overall what I'm seeing with all the different Hex related tokens and the opportunities that are there. And it's really probably pretty focused on Hex people at this point, or people wanting to learn about Hex. But more specifically, I was talking about Hex APRs this week on one of the streams and kind of digging into it. And LPX is one of the areas where you can do pretty well, 20 or 30%. But you have to look at the particular LPX. But doing like eHex to DAI and Hex to DAI, or eHex to Hex, Hex to eHex, as the anchor and the funding token, and those are paying some pretty good APR, certainly more than you get from staking.
Yes.
And so people go, well, why would you do that?
To beat that right now.
Yeah. Well, and some people be like, why would you do that? Well, it actually helps support the price. Believe it or not, the way the LPX operates. So it kind of helps support the price because it always has some ammunition, not always, but mostly has ammunition to be able to go one way or another way on the trade. But then long term, the way those pools are set up, it drips a little bit of DAI into the contract for you to withdraw when you want to in the future. It's not like not some incredibly high number unless you got millions, but it's just a way to set up a never sell situation, right? So the LPX can be like a never sell for the portion that I want to put in there because I can just leave it there, and presumably the LPX just runs forever, market making, and it's more than just a bot. It's not a bot in the first place, but it's a contract, but it's more than just a smart contract. It's something that is actively managing that side liquidity to produce a profit. And there's a couple of them that look like kind of like they didn't work out yet, very low APR, but the market also hasn't run, so you can see the difference. But by and large, 80% of them are doing pretty good.
Yep. Which is partly down to which tokens are available there right now. Like it is somewhat of a curated experience at the moment. I think if they open it up to just users' choice, we might see some more data, more failures, and more successes, right?
Yeah, we definitely have to watch that too, see what people do with it. Because I think the way that it's going to be set up is I could actually go in there and create a managed pool, quote unquote, that I can then change the settings on. And then if I don't know that I would actually do this, but I could also charge a fee for other people to join. So I actually earn from that if other people want to join. So there's some people in the community that might be really good at this, right? I might, I don't know if it'll be me or not, but they might set one up and recruit people to join. They get a little bit of the fee, and now they're
Yeah.
using the LPX and changing the settings over time to kind of dial it in.
And for
So yeah,
some users, like if the person doing that is someone you really trust, and you'd want to make sure of that, but I think to not have to worry about it yourself is certainly worthwhile. That's there is sometimes it is worth paying a fee if you have an expert that does things for you. But this sounds like it's not the same as just giving that person your tokens and asking them to invest. Like you still hold your own keys, you have your own coins. It's not a centralized exchange. You could pull out, right? All those things should remain true.
Yep. Yeah, they can't control what you put in and put out, but they manage the
Exactly.
settings.
Or when you take it out, right?
Yep. And then of course there's the other case where I can go set one up and lock it, so you can see it, but you can't join it. They have
Interesting.
that. They have those types will be there too. So there's a lot of different things. There's also single. I guess not single isn't the right word, but directional will be another type that's out there as well. So
And you can layer these things too for additional effects. Like you can make a pool that had, like with Vault Token, for example, you could have Vault Token to die is the anchor. You could switch that and have Vault Token be the anchor. And they would trade against each other if you were looking for volume. Like there'd be a lot of ways you could use these tools to increase volume, increase number of transactions, which are some of the things that push you higher on Deck Screener, right? So
yeah,
as a chain, when we're only doing $7 million in volume a day, like maybe something like this, like automatic market maker style is going to be a benefit to just perception, even if it doesn't affect profit, which I think it would affect profit.
yeah, yeah. I think it's going to become even more of a mainstay on Pulsechain. Well, for now, it's our little secret, right? Only the people who really know about it have looked at it. Because I know, listen, we all got to move in our own ways, our own time. But I love the prospect of being able to generate profit, without selling tokens.
Yep.
Per se, directly on market and drawing the price down. That makes a big difference. I know everybody says, "Well, just do V3." Yeah, I know, but V3 is a little bit
You can
like watching.
replicate this on V3 if you spend 24 hours a day. You run 17 different V3 pools at different levels against each other, and you're ready to press the button, add, remove, add, remove. Like, yeah, you could 100% replicate this. It would just
Only
suck
somebody
balls.
only somebody watching who's done that understands what you just said. Cheers.
Yeah, like
Because
it
it's
would suck.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, and the guys will say, "Wow, I don't know why you can't." This was you just can't just put it in V3. It's not like that.
You
Sometimes
need a
if the
spreadsheet, you need alarm clocks. Like it
yeah,
would be a
if the
huge deal.
market's they're clearly you can take profit with V3. I can, but
Yeah.
you need to have volume in the direction that you want, and you have to size it in a way that doesn't stop the market and blah blah blah. So, it's just not fast. That's all, and it takes time. And if you're not doing like fast as if you're not watching it, then yeah, if you miss the opportunity, then you got to wait another day,
And
or you
you can screw yourself with V3, right? Like there's ways where if you add to a V3 pool, especially if you're the first person to create a V3 pool, or if it's been dormant for a while and the price is not correct in the range that you want to go in, it could totally sell all your tokens for way less money, and you could make a big red candle on the chart and get a fraction of what you would have got for your tokens. So like
yeah,
there are pitfalls if you're not an expert. So much like how we
patience,
talked about
patience.
UPLS and VPLS, LPX is a good V3 alternative for people who are not experts and or don't want to put in the time.
Yeah, I know, 100%, 100%. We have a new streamer who's here now. I don't know if you'd seen Wrecked on Crypto yet, but I saw one of his videos up on LPX
Let's take a look.
the other day or today. It was out there, but he's in our chat. So welcome to you, my friend. I see that you're
On
talking
crypto,
about
right?
yeah. Eddie was welcoming him, and then he's talking about when the new changes come out, he'll be posting. He'll be covering it properly. Well, we need somebody to cover it properly. Just
Indeed.
step forward.
Is he younger than us? Because we need some younger people to take over at some point.
Honestly, I didn't check pronouns. I didn't check age. I didn't check religion, so I have no idea.
Statistically, he's probably younger than us.
You think so?
Well, by the numbers, there's probably 80% chance he's younger than you or me.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance, though not for sure. U.S. male, mid-20s.
Okay, yeah, that's good. We need more of those.
Yeah, we need more of them. Actually, I think we need more mid-20s blonde from Sweden. Maybe, I don't know.
Women in particular, you're thinking?
Oh yeah, women. That's for not necessarily. I mean, it could be men.
Yeah, I think we're good on attractive men. Yeah, I think attractive women is probably what the industry really needs. We should push that.
Yep. Well, I guess I'll stop there. I got a lot of jokes, but I'll keep moving. We know what sells, guys, right? I've thought about it more than once. We all know the feet pics are the way to go, but True dat. All right. So welcome to you, Wrecked on Crypto. We'll be watching. We'll see what's going on with you. Let's see. I mean, Johnny's talking about a crowd market. I don't know what he's talking about.
Hex Monkey says he identifies as a blonde Swedish chick.
Nice, man.
I've met him, and that wasn't the impression that I took away.
Let me think about this. If with my eyes closed, yeah, he could be. Okay,
yeah, I don't want to go any further into that.
Okay. Yeah. Don't get into anything you're not interested in. That's for sure. Hey, so we got somebody out here asking about the bribe token. Is bribe still a thing? Is that moving
it's
along?
still a thing. Yep. There's the bribery farm pool on 2fucks. It's I believe it is amongst the biggest or the biggest 2fuck stakers, meaning it has the most votes going towards the pool. Pays pretty consistent yield. I think it's around 32% right now. There's also the Bribery protocol, bribery.io, which is running, but nobody's using it right now, where you can place a bribe or receive a bribe for votes on the PHUX exchange or on 2PHUX. But there could be upgrades in the future. Perhaps it would incorporate something like Tide, which I think would make it more interesting. Where there were also votes that could be bought and sold there, but that's the future development. I'm not ready to reveal yet.
Can I actually bribe somebody right now to give me their votes?
You can.
How come I don't know that?
Because there's not very much interest in the process right now in general. So I'm not really pushing it as a thing until it becomes something that's worth talking about. So it is possible, but you would have to place the bribe. Someone else would have to take the bribe. So both those things have to happen. You have to have both sides of that peer-to-peer transaction. You could place the bribe and take the bribe yourself. That would work, but it wouldn't be beneficial. So we kind of need renewed interest.
I'll be like, I take my own bribes.
You're welcome to. And the 8% service fee that gets distributed to the Bribery farm pool, those people would thank you. But yeah, I think if Tide is incorporated, it becomes more interesting. Maybe something else, What if one day Pulsechain became a DAO where you voted on what the next ink farm was, for example? Then that would become probably very interesting. So we have these bribe marketplaces on Ethereum, and they move bank, like Sirius Bank, on the big protocols like Balancer, Curve, et cetera, where people are talking about a lot of money. But right now we're servicing basically the Fux exchange via two angles, like directly from Fux, and then via 2fucks that controls 96% of the votes or something. So it's really the main avenue to controlling those votes. So the volume is really down there right now, though. I think it will pick back up. I have a couple ideas on that, but it's not the talk of the town at the moment. So that's mostly not what I'm talking about. But I will again.
All right.
I think if
Yeah,
Tide was in the mix, it would be a lot more interesting. Let's just say that.
I'm still, listen, I mean, it was hard for me to get, I hate when I feel this way, but it took me a long time to understand exactly how 2 fucks worked in the first place. And then
Yep.
go look at Tide and I realize all the words are just supposed to be different words for the same thing, but I don't understand them. Right. So if I can't understand them, uh,
That is a difficulty. And like, you know what, like I might start talking about Tide more in the near future and we can, get more people on the same page. But like if you understand Fox, which is a fork of Balancer V2, then Tide, which is a fork of Balancer V3, is going to be almost the same from most users' perspective. Like you almost don't have to understand anything else except for different nomenclature. If there was something I was building on top of that, then that would give me motivation to talk about it, which could be a thing.
yeah. Well, I was thinking about an actuator related uh, balancer pool, but it would be
Yeah.
6 tokens. And so I don't know if
Yeah.
that's too many, right? There's
No,
one
you
out there
have
already.
eight. Eight is your limit. You're good.
Is the limit, yeah. But
And
yeah,
there's no actual gatekeeping on making those pools. Like you could do it yourself right now. You could make the pool. The pool would not be a farm
yeah.
unless a team decided it was a farm. But you could do experiments by making the pools with up to 8 tokens per pool at any time.
Right. That's what I was thinking of. I just didn't know if there was like good working knowledge, whether having that many is a good thing or a bad thing. But what I was looking at is, there's already one out there that contains some of the HTTs. But I was thinking a hex and then each of the HTTs that are out there, because they're all hex at some point, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But then the question comes up about, well, wait a minute, at one point, eventually one of those is going to be redeemed and there'll be new ones. And so those pools are not editable, right? Because, well, maybe
The,
perhaps on the Tide protocol there, but not on the current
no,
one.
no, not on either for security reasons. You wouldn't want that to be a thing. Um, but like you can make a new pool, but like what happens to an HTT, like when we get to the date for hex date 3000, what happens to HTT 3000 tokens?
People redeem them or they don't.
Yeah, and if they don't, they don't lose value, right?
Well, it depends on what the LP providers do, right? So if the LP guys decide to pull, that's a good question to dig into. You don't have to answer anything about that now, but
it should be like HTT 3000. And maybe we should ask the actuator guys for clarification. But I get to hex day 3000. I have HTT 3000 tokens. I can then redeem one HTT 3000 token for one hex, right?
correct.
Okay, so on day 3000, an HTT 3000 is worth one hex. Before that, it's probably worth slightly less than one hex, depending on how far before you go. So the only question would be after day 3000, is it indefinitely redeemable for one hex? Because that's, from a liquidity perspective, like you could have it in the pool, it would still be redeemable for one hex. It's worth one hex. And like even if it was there for another year, you just have something that's redeemable for a hex. I don't see why the price goes down. Apart from people making strange choices.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much about price; it's about inclusion or exclusion. Being able to change
Yeah.
it. I think.
But yeah, you would have to make a new pool. But you have some really good tools, right? With both of the balancer forks. Like so, one you can have up to 8 tokens, and you can decide which percentage of each token to have in the pool. So 12.5% being, if you have 8 is like 100% of each token. And then on top of that, but you can have any range. It can be 1% of this token and 50% of that token, whatever you want to do. And on top of that, you can actually control the fees from 0.001% up to 10% in that pool. So those are tools you don't have. Even with V3, you can't control the fees that much. You can basically make your own tax token out of like an 8 token LP pool if that's what you wanted to do. There's definitely some angles.
Yeah. 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 Well, and there's I don't know that there's actually like automated market making university yet or course, but there probably will be soon. Let me tell you, there's some body of knowledge that you can get into as far as how to set these types of things up, and what the right
Oh,
approach
huge.
is, and the numbers. And so, like a lot of people just heard you say that about the 10%, but that
Yeah.
means a lot to me because I recognize that depending on the token I'm talking about, the the trading profile is different, and
Yes.
maybe the sweet spot is like a point 0.9, or the
Yeah.
sweet spot is a 5 or 1. I don't know, right? And it takes
If
time
those
to get
tokens aren't correlated with each other, if they are correlated with each other, then your 10% isn't going to hit, right? But like if they're not correlated, you have like meme coin number 72 paired against text, like it could easily hit that 10% twice a week, right? As long as they're both viable tokens that are going to go up and down and not go to zero, which would be bad in any case. Then like you can make some pretty interesting plays, but like 10 is too high mostly.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah. I'm not suggesting the 10%.
3%, 5% even.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think some people probably don't know that um, way some of the protocols are written now and some of the contracts out there, they'll actually force paths, for trading. And so that's where you start talking about things like the mimicking of a tax token, right?
Yep.
Like whether the market likes it or not, if they have to go through, they have to go through my toll, whatever software. I haven't written anything like this, but I'm saying if they're using a software that's written this way, then you have to use this pool, and this pool, charges 10%. Still up to you,
Yep.
DeFi, to push the button if you like it or you don't like it, but you could see that that's happening already. Not at that kind of level, but when you look at a lot of these V3 pools that are out there, um, there are people in the background running bots and slash or contracts that create loops specifically through those pools for that reason, right? Because
Yep.
they're going to pick up the 2%, or the 1%.
Yep. And
All right.
there is a 2% option on 9 millimeter. You can do 1%, 2%, or there's a couple less than that options too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, there's the point oh 0.05, 0.01, right?
Here's the
0.25.
thing that isn't relevant to most people, but I've witnessed this before, is that if you go on to either like Fox, Tide, 9 millimeter, something where you can make a lower trading fee than is available on PulseX, right? Which I believe is PulseX 0.3. I think it's 0.3,
Isn't it 0.25 and then
maybe 0.25.
0.22?
Yeah.
0.22 is what you get, or something like that. And the
But
rest
but
goes.
on 9 millimeter or Fox or Tide, you can set the fee at 0.1 or less in the case of the balancer forks. And there's a danger in doing that. I think less so with the balancer forks because the bots don't hit them as much because they're complicated. But like if you go on 9 millimeter and you set for one of your main pools 0.01% trading fees, then bots will harvest that difference and sell down your token. Um,
Yeah.
so like I think like generally speaking, if you're setting a V3 range, you want the V3. If you were trying to support that token and either take some fees, take profit, or just provide a different liquidity avenue, you want to set the transaction fee at higher than what's available on the V2, the main V2 liquidity you have for that token, and that keeps the bots out, or at least makes the bots pay if they actually find an arbitrage between V3 and V2.
That's right. No free bot lunch.
That's right. We charge
No
those
free.
bots.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I've
We,
seen
we
that
may
as
have lost most of the audience by this point. I won't be surprised. We still have Frank White and Wrecked on Crypto. Johnny may or may not be hanging around. Let's
Yeah, he
talk
was
about
making some
companies.
comments.
Okay, good. Good. I know Frank knows what we're talking about. 0.29.
Yeah.
Frank is confirmed.
All right. Well, I see that 0.29. All right, good. Well, we're probably done for the night unless there's something the audience wants to hear about. You got something you want to grab? When Green Candles, Poly 68. I think maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas. How about that?
When is American Thanksgiving again?
That's right. Your Thanksgiving's already over, man.
Yeah, it was October 13th. I think you guys are crazy. It's snow. There's snow on the ground. You know what? Why would you do it now?
Yeah. Tomorrow. No, day after tomorrow this year. So
Yeah, tomorrow. Okay.
That's Thanksgiving.
That's pretty soon.
Yeah, and I already cooked I cooked a turkey already. Do you guys have turkeys in Canada?
Yep. Yeah, we have Thanksgiving is the most traditional time to have a turkey in Canada as well. So we just get them before you guys get them. We get the good ones and we send you what's left.
I do a lot of smoking of food. And so I did my first spar. They call it spar cock. Have you ever spar cocked like a chicken or a turkey? And that's where you take the turkey, you flip it over, and you cut the backbone out.
Yep.
And then you put it on a flat surface and you press it down to flatten it. Flattens it out. Cooks not quite half as much time, but a lot faster.
Is it kind of like it's grilled sort of thing, or?
Yeah, it could be. You could consider it that way, but you can cook it in the oven like normal. It's just that because you remove the cavity, and it's been split up the way it is, it cooks a lot faster.
Well, that's the big thing with turkey is the meat thermometer to make sure it gets the right temperature, because the outside can look crispy brown, but the inside could be raw, which is always bad with turkeys and chickens. So that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I don't actually cook things ever outside of using the microwave, so not my area of expertise.
That's all good. Well, I see that it must be time for us to go. That's what I see.
Indeed.
You ready? You just say happy Thanksgiving to all. I don't care where you are Thanksgiving. Have a veggie day. Enjoy yourself in Canada. Stay crispy. I'm gonna try to make my turkey crispy. And I think that's it. We'll be out.
To all a good night.
And we'll see you guys maybe next week. Yeah, we'll be back next week. We plan on it.
Yo, T, urgent hex buy signal. Charts flaming hot.
Golden ratio, huh? That's how legends stack T-shares.
Get them while they're crispy, folks. This window won't stay open long.
Stake smart. Win big. Time rewards those who act.
Stay crispy, Hexicans.
You gotta move it, move it. Feel the rhythm of the blockchain.